Good afternoon, Year Nines. Welcome back. I hope you all had a nice half term. The topic for this video is percentages of amounts. As a starter, please write down how could you calculate these given percentages of a quantity. So if I had to calculate 50% of an amount, 10% of an amount, 25% of an amount, 5% of an amount, and 1% of an amount, how can I calculate to find out these percentages? Okay, so pause the video, have a go, then press play when you're ready to carry on. Okay, so 50% is just basically a half. Okay, so when you're working out half of an amount, you just divide it by 2. 10% is 1 out of 10. Okay, it's 1 out of 10. As a fraction, 10% is 1 out of 10 pieces. So 1 out of 10 of an amount is just dividing it by 10. 25% is just a quarter. And then when you're working out a quarter of an amount, you just divide it by 4. To work out 5%, well, if you know how to work out what 10% is, you just divide by 2 afterwards. So you find 10% by dividing by 10, and then you can work out 5% by halving the 10% amount, okay, to work out what your 5% is. And then finally, to work out what your 1% is, you just divide by 100. Okay, so please make a note of this. These are very, very important. These 5 particular percentages, you must know how to work them out. So 50% is a half, you divide it by 2, 10% you divide by 10. 25% is equivalent to a quarter, so you divide it by 4. 5%, if you work out 10%, you just half it, and to work out 1%, you divide it by 100. You need to memorize these, so please make a note of this. So fraction percentages, well, we mentioned in the starter, 50% is equal to a half, so please make a note of this. Sometimes you may be asked to convert between a percentage and a fraction, or fraction and percentage. So 50% is equal to a half, 25% is equal to a quarter. So if 25% is equal to a quarter, 75% is 3 lots of 25%, right? So it will be 3 lots of a quarter, so that will be 3 quarters as a fraction. And then 10% we mentioned is just 1 over 10. So that's why when we work out 10% of an amount, we do the amount divided by 10. Okay, so these are very important. Please make a note of this. So quickly, so percentages of amount. How can I calculate 50% of 60? So please pause the video and have a go. Press play when you're ready to carry on. Good. Okay, so 50% of 60, you know that 50% is a half. So you just work out half of 60, which is 60 divided by 2, which gives you 30. What about this one, 25%? Have a go. 25% of 60, how can I work that out? So please pause the video, have a go, then press play when you're ready to carry on. Okay, so 25%, we said that's equivalent to a quarter. So all you're trying to do is work out a quarter of 60. So to work out a quarter of 60 is just 60 divided by 4. Okay, and that gives you 50. All right, another way you could work out 25% is you can also work out 50%. And then half it. So you can half it and half it again. So half of 60 is 30 and half it again is 15. So that's another way of working out 25% as well, okay? 10% of 60, how can I work that out? So please pause the video, have a go, then press play when you're ready to carry on. Okay, so 10% we said is just equivalent to 1 over 10. In other words, to work out 10% of 60, you just do 60 divided by 10, which is 6. Finally, how can I work out 30% of 60? Okay, I'll give you a hint. You work out 10%, then you need to do something else afterwards. So please pause the video, have a go, then press play when you're ready to carry on. Okay, so to calculate 30% of 60, I can work out 10% first. So first calculate 10% by doing 60 divided by 10, which is 6. And then after, since 10% is equal to 6, how can I work out 30%? Well, if 10% is 6, then 30% would be 6 times 3, okay? Because 30% is 3 times 10%, right? So the value for 10%, which is 6, we multiply it by 3, and that gives you 18. So it says if you can find 10% of a number, you can find 1% and 5%. How? Well, 100% is equal to 80. 10% is equal to 8, right? If you divide both sides by 10, you can work out what 10% is. All right? And you can work out what 1% is by dividing both sides by 10 as well. So you can easily work out 1% is by dividing both sides by 100. This is just to show you as well. you can work if 100% is equal to 140 to work out 10%, you just divide both sides by 10. So I like using this arrow method. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay, and then you can work out what 5% is because 5% is half of 10%. So you're going to divide 14 by 2 and that's 7. Okay. It says here we can use these results to calculate any percentages by adding 10%, 15%, and 1% together. For instance, here 12%. Now 12% is a combination of 180. It's a combination of 10%, then working out 1% plus 1%. Okay. So in other words, what's basically going on here is to work out what 12% is, we need to first work out what 10% is first, and then work out what 1% is, and then work out what 1% is as well, and then add them up because 10 plus 1 gives me 12%. So to work out 10% of 180, so 10% of 180 whoops, is just going to be 18, right? Because you just divide it by 10. And then to work out what 1% of 180 is, well, it's going to be 1.8, isn't it? Because if 10% is of 180 is 18, well, I'm going to divide both sides by 10 again, right? I'm going to divide this side by 10. Okay? Because to go from 10% to 1%, you divide by 10, and whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So there you go. Look, my 10% is, the value for 10% is 18, and the value for 1% is 1.8. So how can I work out 12% of the amount 180? Well, I'm going to add up. So 10%, which is 18, add that up, plus my 1%, which is 1.8, plus another 1%, which is also 1.8 as well. So adding these up using your calculator, so it would be 1.8 plus 1.8 is 3.6. Add it to 18, that would give you about 21.6, I believe, yeah. Okay, and that's how you work it out. That's my final answer. So you need to basically split them up. You need to use the amounts that you can easily work out. So 10%, 25%, 1%, 50%. You need to use this initially, okay? You need to be using these four initially and then basically adding them up or subtracting them from each other to work out the percentage amount that you need to work out, okay? So let's see how they've done it here. So you work out 10%, which is 18. Then you can work out 1% by dividing both sides by 10, okay? And 12% is equal to 10% plus 1% plus 1%. Add up the values together and that'll give you 21.6. How about this one here now? 56% of 240. I'm going to give you a hint. You need to use 50% plus 5% plus 1%. So have a go. Pause the video, then press play when you're ready to carry on. Okay, just quickly going through this. So 50% is equal to 120. Okay, it's just half of it. 10% is equal to 24. So remember what I said. Well, basically, you need to kind of make an assessment in your head. You need to say to yourself, okay, I need to work out what 56% is. So what can I do? I can work out what 50% is plus 5% plus 1%. Okay, because 50 plus 5 plus 1 gives me 56%. Okay, so I know how to work out 50%. I just work out half of it, which is 120. Then to work out what 5% is, I can't just work out 5% in one step. It requires two steps, meaning I need to work out what 10% is first, which is 24. Then afterwards, I can work out 5% by halving it, which is 12. Okay? And then to work out what 1% is, it's just going to be 2.4 because you just do 240 divided by 100. Okay? Now you can add them up because 56% is equal to 50% plus 5% plus 1%, and adding up the values together, 120 plus 12 plus 2.4 would give you an answer of 134.4. Okay? What I'd like you to do now is to pause the video and have a go at these questions for me, please. Okay. Let's just quickly go through the answers. These are the answers. Okay. And that's how you work out percentages of amount.